What's going on to all my movie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. I am so excited to be back because it's been a couple weeks since I shot my last movie review, and that was last year, but we are in the new year. Hope you all had a safe new year, but this is my first official movie review of 2022, and it is for the new action spy thriller by the name of The 355, which will be coming to theaters this coming weekend. Shout out to Universal for allowing me to check it out early, and I'm really excited to share my thoughts with you all and let you know if it's worth checking out in this spoiler-free review. Before we break it all down, check me out on all my other social media accounts. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, so if you want to be a part of the community, make sure you're subscribing and hitting that notification bell. But also, as you can see on the screen now, if you enjoyed this review, well, make sure to like the video and share the video. But more importantly, I love interacting with you all. So once you've seen this film, go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your pros, your cons, favorite moments, least favorite moments. And since we're talking spy movies, what are some of your favorite spy movies that you have seen in recent memory? Let's talk about that in the comments below. So let's just jump right into the positives here. Starting off with, I just got to say it. Thank God for these actors, and because if there were some lesser known actors, some new actors, this film would have been a complete disaster. But because I mean the script and the direction or lack of direction, we're going to save that conversation for my criticism. But going back to these performances, which I think are the best elements of this film, I thought everyone did the best that they could in the role, even though their characters were somewhat boring and dull and very stereotypical and one-dimensional. But I thought that the actors did the best that they could in their role. Starting off with kind of the standouts for me, Lupita Nyong'o, she always knows the assignment. She plays this MI6 agent who specializes in like cutting edge technology, hacking into computers, but she has a past. She used to be an agent on the field who used to throw those hands, and she really hasn't done that in quite a few years. But in the film, as the MacGuffin is said, this is a device in the wrong hands can set off World War III, so she's kind of forced to get back in action. But the thing I really enjoy, not only does she kick ass, not only is it believable that she's this intelligent MI6 agent, but also what I really enjoyed about the character, and also another character in this film, they bring the stakes to the film. There's actually a face and a name to put for what are we fighting for, right? And in all these spy movies, of course, you know, we see our heroes saving the world, but they're not really necessarily saving the world for, you know, personal reasons. It's just like, I want to save the world and be the hero, but she has someone to go home to, which brings me to my other standout character, which is played by Penélope Cruz, who I have always been a fan of hers, and I've had the biggest crush on her since I can remember, since seeing her in Blow and Vanilla Sky, and she's just such a great actress. But just like Lupita Nyong'o, Penélope Cruz has a family. She has a husband. She has kids to fight for. So her character, those two characters for me really did bring and elevate the story and brought more stakes to the film, because outside of that, the rest of our characters don't really have family to fight for, which we'll talk about here in a second. But those two actresses I thought were the best parts of the film, but that's no means discounting Jessica Chastain, who's really the lead of the film, who's this kind of wild card CIA agent who really can't trust anyone. But I thought that she did the best that she could in the role. She wasn't a standout for me, but her back and forth that she has with a couple other characters like Sebastian Stan, aka Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, who, if you're a Sebastian Stan fan like I am, he's not in the film that much, and when he is on the screen, he's very kind of one note, but I thought that, like I said up top, he did the best that he could. But also there's other characters like Diane Kruger, who is like this rival German agent, who the back and forth between her and Jessica Chastain, I thought at the beginning was very interesting. I wish there was a little bit more of that, but I really enjoyed Diane's kind of backstory, where she comes from, her dad, and how she got into her German agency. So I thought that she was an interesting character, and I can't discount Fan Bingbing, who is a Chinese agent who's not in it a lot, who really kind of comes into the film a lot later than I anticipated, but when she is in the film, she brings another kind of dimension and an interesting element to the film. So again, all the actors, they did the best that they could. Again, standouts being Lupita Nyong'o and Penélope Cruz. So taking that and putting that in the positives. Also, I will say, when our main group of characters are on screen together, I thought their chemistry for the most part was very believable. And I thought the second half, if I were to pick out a certain part of the film, it's when they were working together. Them on screen together was the best elements of this film. So those are my positives. I got to jump to my negatives, and I want to start off with the villain. The villain of this film, who's never on screen. He's off screen. He's behind the camera. He's directing this film. He's co-writing this movie. I'm talking about Simon Kinberg, and I have always said to myself, whenever I see Simon Kinberg, I always go to X-Men Days of Future Past. And then when you think about his career, this man he has to be owed some favors, because I truly do not understand how he gets movies made, because I think this is his second film that he's directed. He doesn't have a voice. I think Simon Kinberg lacks direction. I think he really doesn't know how to handle films of this type of capacity. You know, you can say what you will about Dark Phoenix. I thought that film was horrendous, and I think this film is even worse than that. I think he just doesn't know what he's doing a lot of times, and I'm not, discounting him. He's learned from some directors that he's worked with, from films he's written, but I just don't think he has a voice to be found, or at least to me, he doesn't have much direction in these films. I think of the way that the film handles the script, which we'll talk about the action, which was something that was very, very an issue with me. But the script, he isn't a solo writer. He is a co-writer of this film, but I think that him and the other writer of the film, whose name is slipping me right now, I'm going to leave it on the screen right now, she has some credits to some films that I don't think are that great, and particularly she was one of the writers on The Catwoman, which was Halle Berry's one of her worst films of her career. But I thought that the script was just so boring, so stereotypical, very predictable, and the lines of dialogue, it's almost like they were just kind of like, there was a bunch in like fill in the blanks, like, hey, you're a great actor, you're an Academy Award winning actor, can you fill in the blanks for us and kind of put something that you think would be cool to say in the film? And I thought the script it's one of the weakest elements of the film. But I want to go back to Simon Kinberg, because I really do think, and I hate to solo him out, but he's the captain of the ship. He really did bring down the ship. He sunk the ship, because I think his direction when it comes to the pacing, when it comes to the action, I can go with an action film that might not have the best script. And this might be a hot take, but I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think the John Wick movies, which I think are one of the better action franchises in recent memories, they're not the best scripts. And that's just me personally. But the thing that John Wick has is it has the world building. It develops the characters. It gives you some kick-ass action, so it can kind of substitute for maybe a lackluster script. This film, and when it comes to the action, again, I can go with a so-so script, but if you can't even deliver an action, which they say in the poster is brought to the studio from the Bourne identity and the Bourne franchise, they try to do the Bourne type of camera movement, which is kind of the hand cam and the shaky cam, but oh my goodness, this film was just so hard to follow. I think of the first 10 minutes of this movie, our first action moment of this film, when we meet Jessica Chastain, who's sparring with an agent. There's this one kind of like, there's so many weird zoom-ins and camera angles and weird camera decisions and weird directions. I think of that scene. I think of when they're on the run, when we're seeing them meet this particular character to try to get the MacGuffin in the film, which the MacGuffin in the film was so stupid. I'm so tired of spy movies where it's just like this hard drive or this USB that has this world-ending technology. It's just like, how many times can we see this? That MacGuffin was so stupid, and the way that the film handles the MacGuffin, especially when we get to the end, it's like you could have done that earlier in the movie. I won't spoil anything, but I thought the MacGuffin was stupid. But again, the action, the way it was handled, there's this kind of parkour scene with Diane Kruger and Jessica Chastain chasing down one of the hitmen, which was just so hard to see. And it's just the action and the editing in particular was some of the worst I've seen in a very long time. So again, I truly do think, Simon Kinberg, please fine-tune your craft, my friend. Go back and kind of get better at the direction. Get better at what you're trying to convey in a film, because I think he is the weakest and the worst elements of this film was his direction, his writing, his pacing. The way he shot the action was just really bad, and it's really unfortunate because this cast, these actresses are so fantastic, and even, like I said, Sebastian Stan's in this film. You have Edgar Rodriguez in this film, some really A++ actors, but unfortunately, their captain, the director, the co-writer of this film really let them down, Simon Kinberg. So there's so much more I can say about this film in the negatives, but I'm just going to leave it to that. So before we get into my overall thoughts, if you stuck around to this point of the video, I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, share the video, and go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. Overall, unfortunately, the 355 is just some of the most generic, tropey, stereotypical, dull, boring, uneventful scripts that I've seen in a very long time. The captain of the ship, Simon Kinberg, he has just really outdone himself when it comes to just not having much of a voice in his directing chair, and the script of this film is just so atrocious. The pacing is 2 hours long. This film could have been told in so much more of a shorter time. I'm really kind of disappointed because because again, I really admire these actors in this role, and I thought that they were just kind of let down by, unfortunately, a very poor direction, very horrendous script. This is some really bad pacing. So with all that being said, this isn't the worst film that I've ever seen by any means, but I really didn't have the highest expectations, but I at least wanted to have some fun in the action department, and boy, the action in this film really let me down. So with all that being said, I'm going to give the 355 a 2 out of 5, and when it comes to me recommending this film, I've never been one to tell people where to spend their money, how to spend their money, but for me, I don't think it's worth checking out in theaters. I believe that this is one of those films that will be available on, I believe it is Paramount Plus in 45 days. I would probably say wait till it comes out on Paramount Plus, but hey, that's just my opinion. I want to know yours in the comments. Pros, cons, favorite moments, least favorite moments. Let's talk about it all in the comments below. With that being said, I appreciate you watching this review. Again, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're almost to 20,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot to me if we can hit that milestone and continue to build this channel. But that was my first review of the year. Again, the bar is set low, so I expect things to get better. I will be seeing Scream the following day as I'm recording this. We got Euphoria Season 2. We got Peacemaker. We got Ozark Season 4. A lot of great things to look forward to. So I appreciate every single one of you all. And again, before you leave, support the channel by subscribing. But also, as you can see on the screen, check out my other content. We'll catch you all on the next video.